for joining us this afternoon for our highlight of the month, the commemorative lecture with Arden. I want to take a moment to thank the members of the committee, the students, faculty, and staff. If you're part of the committee, if you're able to stand, could you stand and be recognized, please?
Oh yeah!
Thank you. Appreciate your support. And also, thank you to co-curricular fee funding for its support. I also want to thank DPS for coming out. So Officer Hudson, thank you. And Learning Environment, Stephen, thank you for helping and everything. And thank you to my office colleagues, Marissa Willingham, and our fearless leader and director, Dr. Duajman. Thank you for your support. But last but not least, I want to thank the members of Lambda Phi Epsilon fraternity for co-sponsoring with the Office of Multicultural Affairs on today's event. You guys have been great to work with. It's an honor for me to serve as your advisor. But a special thank you to Richard and also Ricky, who isn't here with us. I know he's in Hong Kong. As current and past presidents, you've taken the lead, and thank you so much for helping to organize this event. So this year, the planning committee chose one community, one university, and one family as our theme for the month. We chose this theme because it is our hope that we bring together the AAPI community as well as the wider university community and bring to light the issues and challenges and reflect on the unique stories and successes of AAPIs on campus but also nationally. I encourage you all to attend the events for the month. I just want to briefly highlight a few of the upcoming events for this week. So on Tuesday night at 6 p.m., the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers is hosting their talent show. And they still have room to sign up, right? David and Jesse, there's still room to sign up online. You can find out that information on the Office of Multicultural Affairs website. Next Thursday at 7 p.m., we are hosting our annual book club discussion, where we'll be talking about Jeff Chang's recent book, We Gonna Be Alright, Notes on Race and Resegregation, which is a really great book about the racial issues of today, like Ferguson and policing, campus unrest these past couple of years, protests, and also Asian Americanness. And even if you haven't read the book, you're welcome to join the discussion. We'll have free food too. On Friday, we're hosting a panel, our Paving the Way alumni panel with 4 great alumni, Victoria Chan, Sharon Lee, Ben Fang, and also Jane Hong. And it'll be moderated by Professor Ying Ma, who's the director of the Asian American Studies program here at Syracuse. The panel will cover issues related to the bamboo ceiling and career challenges and successes. Lastly, on Saturday, April 15th, Student Association is sponsoring the Thrive Together Fair, which celebrates culture, courage, and community, and is raising funds for Interfaith Works, which is a nonprofit in Syracuse that does really great work supporting the refugee community. So all of our events, like I said, are on the Office of Multicultural Affairs website, as well as OMA's social media channels. Speaking of social media, if you're tweeting or whatever people do, use the hashtag AAPIHM if you want to generate the discussion and create awareness of what's going on. And also, we have a geo-filter they can use with Snapchat right now during the event and after the event, so please use it. It's pretty cool. So without further ado, I now would like to invite Abby Budeman, today's moderator, who will also introduce Arden Cho. Abby is a senior and double major in broadcast and digital journalism and economics. She has been actively involved with the AAPI Heritage Month Committee, and she's also been working in Asia and involved with the Sussker Center as a mentor, just to name a few of her involvements. Please welcome Abby to the stage.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here, and I know you're all super excited to meet our amazing commemorative speaker, Arden Cho. But before we start the event, just a little bit about her background. So we all know Arden Cho as an actress, singer, songwriter, model, and proud dog mom. You should all follow her really cute dog, Chewy Cho, on Instagram. But overall, Arden Cho is a talent that is sure to impress all of us. So she graduated from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. She majored in theater, and soon after that, she moved to Los Angeles to pursue her dream in the entertainment industry. Now, fast forward, we all know her best as her role as Kira Yukimura on MTV's hit show Teen Wolf. But aside from that, she also appeared in big TV network shows like Pretty Little Liars, CSI New York, and also Castle. And she has been involved in several major campaigns with big companies like Apple, Toyota, also McDonald's. And on top of all of that, she also has a career in the music industry. In 2013, she released her first EP, My True Happy. It's available on iTunes. And on top of that, she also has a growing and very creative YouTube page, Arden V. Cho, where every week she continues to showcase her creative and music endeavors. Now, whenever she has spare time, and it's amazing that she does, she travels around the nation to talk with people like us. And she tries to inspire and give us hope and passion to pursue our futures. So, with no further ado, can we all please give a huge welcome to Ms. Arden Cho.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How are you guys? Oh, good. Okay, a quiet bunch today. You guys didn't have your morning coffee? No, just kidding. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for the intro, Abby.
Thank you so much, Arden.
You have to press on.
There we go.
There we go.
It's on now. Well, thank you so much for coming here all the way to upstate New York, Syracuse, and I know you were welcomed by snow in April yesterday, but I hope that was a new change of scenery for you.
Well, I was welcomed by two lovely faces as well, Abby and Richard. So yeah, it was nice, and it's kind of nice. I miss the snow. I'm in LA right now, and it's basically one season all year round. So I know you guys probably don't like it, but appreciate the snow. Oh, this is so quiet. They're like, no, you're wrong.
It's April, so maybe we're a little bit tired of it. But it's spring soon. So.
I totally feel you there. I went to school in Urbana-Champaign, and we would walk through 10 to 15 inches of snow, basically, to class. I was like, oh, we're for sure going to have a snow day. They're like, nope, class will resume as scheduled.
Yeah, it's amazing how these snowy campuses are so good at dealing with snow. We never get snow days. But whatever. Well, but thank you so much for being here. We're truly grateful for your appearance and talking with us. And to just really start things off, could you tell us a little more about your background? How did it all start for you?
So, how did it start? Well, I was born and raised in Texas. And do we have anyone from Texas or the Midwest?
Texas.
I was born in Amarillo. Do you know where that is? No. Okay, it's a really small town. Sorry, I'm gonna take my jacket off. It's a little bit hot in here. Oh, you guys are making me nervous. No, so yeah, I was born in Texas. My parents moved around a lot. I ended up in Minnesota in high school, and then I ended up going to school at University of Illinois. And how many of you guys are freshmen? Ooh, like half the room. Okay, that's pretty good. Do you guys know what you want to do? Okay, that's kind of how I felt. Quiet and not sure of what I wanted to do. I was a freshman in college. I was semi-undecided, I think, and then I decided I would study psychology because I was like, oh, I want to learn about people, and I'm really shy and nervous and awkward all the time, and I always feel really uncomfortable, so maybe if I understand how people are, I will know a little bit more about myself and how to sort of live life. And I started studying psychology, and then I took electives. I mean, you have to take electives, right? And so I started taking theater, thinking it was going to be a really easy A. Do you guys do that? You take a couple of those really easy, okay, I see a lot of nods. What are your easy electives, like art, theater, what? History? Whoa, really? History is so hard. Oh, history is the worst. I mean, I think that's really hard, but brave of you, soul over there, brave soul. But yeah, so I took theater thinking it would be such an easy class, and unfortunately I was like pretty much struggling. And I think it was sort of the first time I realized performance or being real and open and vulnerable was really hard for me. And so our professor would always sort of put us in these situations where we had to be vulnerable and be true and be real and authentic, and that was really hard for me. And I guess in the same way that it was difficult, I kind of fell in love with that whole process. So I started really getting into theater and learning, and in that experience I actually fell in love with acting. And that was kind of when I felt like this is the first time I could be who I thought I should be. I felt like my whole life I kind of grew up the model Asian child, like get straight A's, never get in trouble, never get, sent to detention, always on time for school. Like I would have nightmares where I would wake up and be like, oh, I was 5 minutes late for school. Or like, I left my homework at home. But oh, God forbid that would ever happen because, of course, model student here. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think it was sort of like that. Do you guys feel that pressure?
Yeah.
You have to be perfect. So I grew up always feeling that pressure, and it wasn't until theater class where I felt like I could be free and I could experience these emotions of sadness, anger, love, and that sort of really channeled this new joy, I guess. And so it was my sophomore or junior year in college that I was like, I really want to do theater. I really want to act. But then at the same time I was like, oh, I can't really do theater. There's like no rules for Asians. If I go move to New York and live on off Broadway, like I'm not gonna be able to pay my bills or make a career. And so I was just always thinking it was kind of a pipe dream. And I worked obviously on plays and musicals and different things like that, but I always thought it would just be a hobby. And it wasn't until I graduated, and this is a really long story, so I'll make it short. We're like still in the first question. So it wasn't until I graduated, I actually ended up in Kenya for 6 weeks on a sort of a mission trip working with some medical missionaries and orphanages. And it was when I was there that one of my mentors basically encouraged me to go after what I felt like my heart was calling me to. And that was probably the toughest decision I ever made, just because I was so scared to fail, I was scared to move, I was scared to do something that was uncertain, but that is kind of how I started. So I ended up flying back home to Illinois and booked a one-way ticket to LA, and this was August 22nd, 2007. So I graduated school in 2007. Some of you guys probably graduated middle school in 2007. I'm just a little older than you, not that much. Just a little.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So you did say how acting helped you express yourself, but Asian Americans we're often stereotyped as being quiet, passive, we don't share a lot of opinions. What is your take on that, and how did acting help you overcome that stereotype?
So I think I actually fit a lot of those stereotypes. Growing up, I think I was definitely quiet and shy. I think I'm still a little bit shy, but I'm more awkward than shy now. And now I'm much louder, but also because I feel like you get older and you just care less. Because you're like, oh, well, if you don't like me, then I'll just cry about it in the corner. No, I'm just kidding. But also you're just kind of like, yeah, it's okay. I think for me, a lot of those stereotypes, I'm really bad at math. I'm not good at the things that Asians are. I'm really bad at driving, so oh my gosh, I'm sorry, Asians. I'm that person, but it's mainly because I love music and I'm really moved by music. So sometimes if I'm listening to music and driving, I'm like super into the song and I'm like, oh, oops, I just. So I try not to listen to music when I'm driving. But gosh, there's a lot of bad stereotypes, but then there's great ones, like, you know, being good at math, which I'm not, being really good at fighting, which I am. I'm a third-degree black belt. But so growing up, I liked that stereotype. I think it's great to know that. Well, I mean, I know it's offensive when someone thinks, oh, you're Asian, you must be good at Kung Fu. But I'm like, I'm Asian, yes. I don't know Kung Fu, but I do know Taekwondo, so hey. I don't know, what are the other stereotypes that Asians have?
Do you play piano?
Yeah, I do play piano, so I played piano for 10 years. I played cello, you know, like every good Asian. And what a disappointment, because I didn't become a famous pianist. I didn't become a famous golfer. I didn't become a famous cellist. Oh, yo-yo ma. That was like my dream for one point in life, until I realized I hate practicing. And so I was like, I don't think I'm called to be a famous cellist. But yeah, of course, I think those stereotypes exist just because there's so little exposure of what Asian Americans are really like, or what Asians are like. And I think it's definitely become much more progressive, and people are speaking out. We have a lot of talented Asian American comedians and voices and talents that are speaking about what matters and who we are. But I guess for me, I'm still sort of figuring out the way that I can be involved in that as well, because as an actor, we read our lines and we're a character. That's sort of our job. And then also in music, you can share a little bit more of who you are through your lyrics, but at the same time, I'm not singing about being Asian and not fitting a mold. And so I feel like it's opportunities like this where I get to share more of who I am and the things that I believe in and I find important, and hopefully get to share that, hey, we're three-dimensional people here. We are very different than what you see through the lens of TV or movies.
Thank you. So you moved all the way from the Midwest to Los Angeles. That is a huge jump. And the entertainment industry is so well known to be uncertain and full of risks. Can you tell us a little more about, you know, that vulnerable period of your life and how you overcame it?
I feel like when I look back now, I really think I was crazy. I mean, you just have to be crazy to move across country. I didn't have any friends in LA. I didn't know anybody. I literally found my roommate on Craigslist, guys.
That worked out.
Exactly, yeah. Craigslist. I had 2 of them on Craigslist. That was a really, really fun time. And I think I cried every night the first 2 years. Yeah, really. I would legitimately sit in my closet and cry because I didn't want my roommate to hear me. But I was also so prideful and so stubborn. There was this part of me that was like, I knew before I moved to LA, a lot of my close friends were like, oh, you're never gonna make it. You know, you don't have thick skin. Hollywood is so brutal, and everyone's trying to make it. You know, you don't come from money, you don't come from a famous family, you don't have any connections, you don't know anything, and you're not the best actor, you're not the best singer, like, what are you thinking? And I feel like those are sort of the words I heard the most of. But at the same time, I was like, I'm really not happy about how Asian American women are represented in media, and I'm not happy about how minority women are represented in media. So I can either sit back and complain about it for the rest of my life, or I can try. And so for me, I went with this dream and hope that I would try, but like there was like a sliver of hope left for probably about 5 years, and I always kept thinking like, I should just quit, I should just give up, it's not gonna happen, and it's too hard. But because I was so prideful and stubborn, I was like, no, I will not go home a failure, and I won't let everyone be like, I told you so. Because also, you know, as a woman, there's all this pressure of like, you've gotta get married, you have to like be a mom, you have to do these things, and that's great. I think that's amazing. I want to do that one day, and I hope I get to. But at the same time, I also wanted to do what I felt like I needed to. And so, I guess the first 5 years was really that battle for almost like with myself and with life, and then audition after audition after audition. And it wasn't until maybe 2009, 2010, I ended up working on some internet projects, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, and that sort of opened up a new realm of things and a new avenue, because I was sort of only in traditional media, which was auditioning for films that are, you know, there's this like process, the system of producers and execs and networks, and you're kind of just a small pawn in the puzzle. And so I think the internet really opened up an opportunity to create your own content. And so I started sharing music and different things, but I struggled with it a lot because I felt like I wasn't necessarily the creative type. I think I love acting because when you have a movie or a TV show, you have hundreds of people working on the project. You have people creating the idea, writing the stories, you know, painting what they're gonna look like, and then as an actor, you get to take everyone's work and bring it to life. But you don't do it on your own. Literally hundreds of people doing it, and I love that collaborative process because I feel like it's so exciting. It's like seeing a painting on the wall, but everybody touched it. You know, it's not like one person painted this picture and is like, oh, I'm Picasso. It's not. It's sort of like there's 500 people that touched one piece of art and we made it together. And I love that feeling. And with YouTube, in the beginning, a lot of it felt like it was just me. And I felt really discouraged. It was hard, but I think through the years I found ways to sort of make it work, collaborating with other people and challenging myself to do more. And so I totally forgot the question and I don't know what I'm talking about now. Are we sort of on the same page?
Oh, absolutely.
Are we on the same page? Okay. But yeah, so I guess that's sort of, I really don't remember what the question was. People call me Dory. I'm like, oh, hi, I'm Arden, nice to meet you. It's like, oh, hi, I'm Arden, nice to, oh, did I meet you? I'm sorry.
No, you answered the question really well,
Yes.
thank you. Your life literally sounds like a real life La La Land, so.
Oh, except for the part where I quit and then Ryan Gosling shows up and says, a casting director's looking for you, they're gonna give you the movie.
So realistic, right?
Wah, wah, wah. Guys, every time I quit, no one showed up and said, you got the part. I love when, after every audition, my friends will be like, so did you get the part? Did you get it? And I'm like, I don't know. When do you find out? I don't know. Are they gonna call you this week? I don't know. Are they gonna call you Are they gonna call you next week? I don't know. They may never call me. Oh guys, guess what? It's been 3 weeks. They're already shooting the movie. They didn't call me to let me know I didn't get the part. That is our life. It's day after day. I mean, at least when you interview for jobs, they'll let you know, hey, Abby, thank you for your resume. We loved meeting you. Unfortunately, we are going to go with someone else. Richard. No, but you know, like, I feel like at least there's some sort of closure. In our industry, there is no closure, ever. It's just, so I'll just share how I stay sane, other than crying every other day, and having friends to be like, it's okay, you'll be okay. There will be other options one day. I feel like I go through this process of, I prepare an audition, I do the work, I go in, I perform it, and then I walk away and I try to pretend like it never happened. Because otherwise, if I think about it and I dwell on it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that part. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. And then it's like, am I gonna get it? Am I gonna get it? I'm not gonna get it. No one called, hey, agent, how are you? So, any word? No? Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh. And then it's sort of that process every single day, and it drives you crazy, and so, yeah. And then years later, when you watch movies, you're like, oh, I auditioned for that. I auditioned for that too. We went to go watch Get Out this week. I've seen it twice. Have you guys seen Get Out? If you haven't seen it, you must watch it in theaters because it is an amazing movie. Jordan Peele is brilliant, so talented, and that is what I feel like, that's what we need. And we need to support minority directors, we need to support people who don't come from this like huge network of like $100 million budget, whatever, but it's like, this movie is brilliant. But it was just funny because watching that movie, every preview, I was like, I auditioned for that. I auditioned for that too. Oh yeah, she's really pretty. She's cool. She's really tall. But yeah, so just a little window into my life. If you ever feel sad, just remember, at least you don't go through rejection all day, every day, for 10 years long.
But we're so happy that you are stubborn and you push through all these years because a lot of Asian Americans need these role models, and we're very grateful to have you represent us in the big screen. So So I actually found some statistics that are not very encouraging about Asian American representation on the media, in the media. So only 8% of network television shows in the country feature more than one Asian American cast member. And this is crazy. Throughout history, only 3 people with some form of Asian American background has ever won an Oscar for acting-related roles. So what is your take on this, and how important do you think is representation in Hollywood and in entertainment in general?
Representation is important. I feel like when we look at those statistics, it's tough because if you think back 50 years ago, and if you think back today, you know, the people sitting in those decision-making chairs, they're making decisions, you know, in the big realm of things. What's going to be profitable, who is marketable, who's going to hit the mass audience. And do I think it's fair that as a minority you're always the sidekick or just the friend or the person in the background or like the tech in the lab? Like, no, I don't think that's fair. And I'm really hoping that in the next 5 years there is a drastic change. But at the same time, you know, my actor friends and I who are Asian American will talk about how this business in general is so competitive. And if you think about the amount of, let's just say, white actors, there is more than there are Asian actors. So if you take, you know, that huge percentage of white actors and say maybe 1% of them are successful and 1% of them make them, and then out of all the Asian actors, you say 1% of them make it. And then these are not real statistics, I'm just giving you sort of a picture. It's such a smaller number. Now, do I think that the way that the industry is shaping, I think there are many opportunities that we could have made an Asian star or an Asian American could have become an A-lister. Obviously, you know, all the movies that have been whitewashed, I think so many of those movies come from a platform where they didn't need an A-lister. They didn't need a name to get a $100 million budget. You know, you see movies like Star Wars. It really doesn't matter who plays those roles. You know, they're making a star. But I think it's unfortunate to see that some of these execs don't want to take those chances with Asian Americans, or people don't want to take those chances with minorities. And I think right now, today, it's been really great for people of color in the Black community and the Latin community because there are so many talented actors, writers, directors in those communities that are really aggressively making a change and actively pushing the movement forward. Now for Asian Americans, I don't think that we have enough of those key players yet. But I think it can change. I know it's changing because I know there's people in the community that are really working hard to be a voice and to speak out and, you know, bring us to that table, you know. I don't know, I just feel like I could go on hours and hours about this conversation, which is hard because a lot of it's opinion.
Exactly, yeah. So you mentioned whitewashing, and this is what a lot of people are just talking about right now, but it's an extremely complicated topic. It's really not just who's right, who's wrong. Just some recent examples, I guess. A lot of people are talking about Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell, and Tilda Swinton in Doctor Who, and Margaret Cho even had a really public discussion with Tilda Swinton, I guess, regarding this. What is your take in whitewashing? I know you mentioned it a little bit, but
I think with Ghost in the Shell, 1000% the lead should have been Asian American or Asian, or at least some form of something Asian. Just because I think Ghost in the Shell is enough of a, you know, just it has enough of a fan base, enough of a following that it didn't need to be an A-lister. I just don't like that excuse when they say, oh, we wanted to stay. I just feel like a lot of times people like lie. I just don't like it when they lie.
Yeah.
Like, for example, some of the, like Iron Fist, they said, oh, we want to stay true to the content. We want to stay true to the comics, so the lead is white.
oh.
But then when it comes to Ghost in the Shell, it's like, oh, well, we wanted to be marketable, so we went with an A-lister. But actually, I don't even know if they said that. They probably,
I mean,
did
that's
they?
a lot of reasons that people are saying that this is a huge production cost, so we have to hire someone who everyone knows.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love Scarlett Johansson, and I always try to think think of the other perspective. And if I was her, it would just be, I'm sure she's just done so many different movies, and she has sort of the pick of the litter. She could choose any type of script, any type of movie, and she's so talented. So I'm sure there was a part of her that was like, whoa, this is so cool. I would love to be in Ghost in the Shell. I would love to be that character. And I'm sure there wasn't even a moment that she thought, oh, I should pass this so an Asian American actress can have this. Because in the big picture, if she passed, it probably would have been another white girl. It probably would have been another A-lister. Unfortunately, that's what I think. And so I feel like it's really unfair when people are like, oh, it's all Scarlett Johansson's fault, she should have turned it down. And I'm like, yeah, but do you not realize, like, she's just an actor. She's trying to work, she's trying to make a movie, she's trying to expand her, experiences as an actor. And so I don't think it's her fault. I think definitely the studio or the execs or the people with the financial decisions should have thought for a second, hey, how has whitewashing these big sort of comics and these big, movies or animes in the past worked out for us? And I think it sort of follows the same result, but I don't know why they're not learning the lesson. And then the response is always, well, there's just no Asian A-listers. But how do people become A-listers?
Exactly.
Because an exec or a movie or a studio takes a chance, right? I mean, how did Jennifer Lawrence become an A-lister? She worked on a couple great movies, and then she was Katniss. Hunger Games took that chance with her, right? They didn't use an A-lister, and so I think it just is gonna have to be one of those things when someone is willing to take a chance on an Asian American actor or an Asian actor. And I also think it's knowing the difference between Asian American and Asian, which is very different. And I feel like in Hollywood, a lot of times, they think we're all the same.
Yeah.
And that's very frustrating because I feel like I'm always going in for things and I have people telling me I'm not Asian enough or that I am too Asian. So I'm just kind of like, all right, did you want me to walk in and be like, oh, hello. Thank you. Or it's like, do they want me to not be? I don't know. I just feel like I'm always really confused because I feel like when it's written for, we want Asian, it's like Asian, exotic, sexy, like, Black Widow kind of, that's sort of like what they envision as Asian. And I'm like, I've never felt like that before. I just want to be a normal Asian girl, which is basically a normal girl. And so I think there's so many levels to getting better representation. It's really not going to be one movie or one project or one whatever. Ultimately, I feel like I always tell people the best way is to have more decision makers and more creators that are Asian American and Asian. Asian Americans writing their stories and Asians writing their stories, getting these stories made. And so I feel like it's gonna take some time. It's not gonna happen overnight, but I definitely see an improvement and at least a discussion. I feel like the discussion is really healthy.
Your story about coming into a room and them wanting you to be Asian. Master of None, Aziz Ansari, there was this really famous scene where he's like, can you show your accent? But we were just talking about this a little bit a couple of days ago, the notion of microaggression, of what they assume to be Asian traits, and they don't mean bad, but it comes off really weird. And we were all just wondering, what is the best way to proactively respond to those instances when you experience casting directors asking you to be more Asian? How did you react, or what would be the best way to react to those instances?
So I don't know if this is the best way. I feel like a lot of actors are different. I have friends who don't mind. They'll just do the accent because they're like, look, I need to work.
Exactly.
I will play that racist character because I need a job. You want me to be that Asian masseuse? I'll do it. You want an Asian accent? I'll do it. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like no judgments, because in the end of the day, I get it. A job is a job. If you've got bills to pay and you're trying to survive, you don't have the option to make that choice. For me, I feel like, once again, my pride and my stubbornness comes out. I can't tell you how many times I've been in auditions and they'll be like, oh, that was great. Can you do it one more time now with an accent? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'll just do it again, exactly how I did it. And then they'll be like, oh no, I mean, excuse me, wait, stop, can you do it with an Asian accent? And then sometimes I'll be like, well, what kind of Asian accent? Is this, but because I'm like, I don't understand. Would you like a Korean accent, a Chinese accent, a Vietnamese accent, a Japanese accent? But I don't understand because this character is a doctor who speaks 4 languages and is genius. I'm trilingual. I don't have an accent in either language, so what was the point again? And usually they'll just be like, but then it'll be funny because then I'll just leave, and then my agent will be like, hey, so how's that audition? I'll be like, why? Did they say something? Did they not like me? And then he's just like, oh, no, I mean, it's okay. It's all right, well, thank you. And I'm like, thank you. I mean, ultimately, like when you are auditioning for shows, you are auditioning for a show that you want to work on. It's going to be your job. You're going to work with these people every day, and if it's going to be a show where they are that narrow-minded and they can't understand that, I'm not going to do it. But then also, like, there have been times where there was a film that wanted me to play a Mandarin, Chinese character. She spoke Mandarin, but they were only going to give me about a month and a half of dialect coaching, and so I was like, oh, there's no way that I can authentically do that. So I passed on it. But then for Teen Wolf, there were some episodes where I spoke Japanese, but I have a lot of Japanese friends and I've talked to them and then I took some lessons, but it's just like 1 or 2 phrases. And I feel like it was enough that as an actor, I was like, I can authentically portray that and it's fine. And I don't think that's racist and I don't think that's wrong, if that makes sense. And so like, I feel like if it's a character where it's a movie and they're like, all right, your character lives in Asia, was never been in the States, just arrived here, and this scene, like, it's her first time in America. I would do that with an accent because it makes sense, right? You know what I mean? I feel like when it makes sense in the story, I'm like, okay, that's okay. I just hate it when it's like, okay, this is a really cool scene, everyone's in the office and everybody's so funny, and then you're gonna say this line, but do it with an accent because it'll be funnier. And I'm like, what? Why? Why is that funny? It's not funny when the accent is the joke. You know, and so that's how I feel about it. I get really angry. I feel like I turn into like an angry Asian because I'm like, what? Why?
But yeah, that is the issue that a lot of minority groups have when we speak out, and then the response would be, "You sound angry." But what is the fine line?
Yeah, the fine line. What is the fine line? I feel like these days there is a lot of discussion. And I think that's great, but at the same time, sometimes I want to be like, oh, my Asian friends, calm down, don't be so angry, because if you're angry and you're yelling, you are not going to get the point across.
Yeah.
You just sound angry, and there's a lot of angry noise. Because I feel like in the heart of it, I get it. I went into this business because I care about representation, because I care about how people see me, and because I don't want people walking up to me being like, oh, so what kind of Asian are you? You seem so submissive and cute. I hate that. Like literally last night I was with Eunice, who works with me, and we were sitting and this guy was like, oh, are you guys sisters? And I was like, no. Are you related to every white guy that you sit next to? But anyways, like I feel like I hate that. I really do. But if we want to be heard, it has to be in a way that people will listen. And you guys know, if you fight with someone and you just start yelling, you're not gonna ever resolve that fight. You're just gonna keep yelling at each other and then you're just gonna be mad.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're not happy about the way we are being represented, let's be proactive. Let's create stories that are about Asian American people, that are about Asians, whether it be short stories or films or pilots or whatever it may be, just write. And put that out there, and if you have friends who are creative, encourage them to make stories with Asian people in them. I know a lot of talented filmmakers, and it's so disappointing when I hear them say, and they're Asian, and they'll make a movie and not put a single Asian person in it, and I'm like, why would you do that? And they're like, well, I mean, it's just not gonna sell if there's Asian people. And I'm like, no, if it's a good story, it'll sell. And I think that's why, like, the Black community in film is so encouraging to me, because when they make a movie, they put everybody in it. They put all their friends and all their people in it, and it's successful, and they support it, and it's so good, because they care about the story and the content. And that's The only way that minorities will be heard is when the minorities create those stories. Because how is a white Jewish guy going to write a story about a 24-year-old Asian American girl and actually have it sound authentic? It's not fair to expect that. And I don't think that we have to sit back and wait for it. And that's why I think even platforms like YouTube is really great, because you see a lot of young Asian American, Asian creators all around the world making stories that represent us, showing us as three-dimensional characters, showing us as college dropouts and funny people and creatives and comedians, people that are different from the model minority.
So a little bit about Fresh Off the Boat. So, you know, a lot of people say it's a big step forward for a representation for Asian Americans, but a lot of people are discussing different things about it. What do you think about Fresh Off the Boat, and do you think it gave justice to the lack of representation for Asian Americans?
I love Fresh Off the Boat. I think Fresh Off the Boat is amazing. I think it's a huge step. I love Dr. Ken. I think these shows are so essential for us, but I'm not even close to satisfied. We need like 5 more shows, at least, with Asian Americans. And it's like, it's really great to have this Fresh Off the Boat, this, you know, Chinese American family that's trying to make it. I love that. I love that story. It's so, you know, it comes really close to home for me, and I love the comedy on it. Constance Wu, such a big fan. She's hilarious, and I love Randall, known Randall for 10 years, and I've seen him, all his work through the theater scene, and so it's really great to see his hard work paying off, and to see someone like Constance who's using her platform to really speak out for us. I'm so encouraged and I love it. But that's one family. That does not represent every Asian family or every Asian American family. That is literally one, is it Taiwanese family? Yeah, one Taiwanese family. And I have like 4 or 5 Taiwanese friends that are like, that is nothing like my family. You know, we need more than one family. We need more than Dr. Ken's family where he's a doctor, which is also very stereotypical. But I love it because that's who Ken is. Ken really is a doctor, in case you guys didn't know. And I've known Ken for years as well, and I love what he's doing with his career because he is so willing to take risks. He's willing to do the things that people might be scared to do because of judgment. You know, his family his real life family is beautiful, and his on-screen family is beautiful. I love what they're doing. But for me, I'm like, we need a show like Sex and the City with like all Asian girls or like black girls or Latino, whatever, just mixed, just not where it's like 7 white people and like 1 Asian person, or 7 white people and like 1 black friend. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, well there's a black guy on the show. Okay, so you're now saying it's diverse? That is not diverse. You literally just placed someone in a, you know, in the cast to say that it's diverse. I just think there need to be stories like Friends, where it's 6 friends and they all happen to be minorities and they're all making it. Like, you know, they could just be in the Bay. You got like a tech guy, you know, a struggling actress, a pastry chef, or like an engineer. I feel like every app developer is Asian. Why do we not have an Asian app developer on a TV show? Like, hello? I don't understand. Like, let's be real about representation. Because, let's be honest, Asian people are kind of awesome. We're pretty smart. But I don't know why on TV we're always just the nerdy friend. Like, why aren't we the lead guy? Like, that's why I loved Selfie. Did you guys watch Selfie? Yes. Oh, it breaks my heart that I see like 2 heads nodding. Because this is the perfect example of why it's so hard for Asian Americans to make it. Yeah. John is amazing. John Cho. You guys know John Cho, right? Most people know him from American Pie Days or Star Trek, right? Yeah. Anyways, John is great. He is so much more than just the Harold and Kumar guy. But unfortunately, when he does a show like Selfie, by the way, it was amazing and so hilarious. He was just this amazing character where he's the lead. He's a sexy guy, and this hot white girl wants him. Oh, like, yes, that is what we should have representing Asian men, but the show got canceled. It didn't even finish airing. Why? Because no one watched it. So, I'm always telling people, I don't care if you don't like the show. If there are Asian people in it, DVR it, TiVo it, watch it, put it on repeat in the background when you're cooking dinner or when you're taking a shower or doing your studies, because the views matter, the ratings matter. And when execs say, hey, I want to do a show, who can we put in it? They're gonna put in the actors that bring in the ratings. And if they feel like, whenever there's Asian people, we just don't get a lot of views, so let's just go white. When that sort of decision is made, I feel like it's kind of like, hey, well, we're all a part of it. If we watch and we give the views and we give the support, it'll make a difference.
So, I know a lot of students who are in programs that will go into the entertainment industry. And a lot of my friends who are Asian American and pursuing that dream are also worried. Just because what you said, there are lots of movers and shakers and other minority groups who are sort of paving the way for younger generations to pursue a career in this industry. But a lot of my Asian American friends keep saying there's too much uncertainty. I don't think anyone believes in us. I don't know what to do. What advice do you have for these, people who want to go into this industry but are just too scared?
Everyone is scared, and every industry is hard. Pre-med guys, it's really hard. I have friends who after 10 years of med school are like, I'm finally a doctor. I'm just gonna work till I can pay off my loans and quit. No, I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen. I'm so sorry. I just use them as an example. See, but she knows, right? It's hard. I have a friend who was pre-med, and during residency, he had a 48-hour shift and gave a baby enough, the stuff that you put him to sleep, anesthesia, and anesthetics for a 300-pound man. I know, luckily the baby's okay, but he was I was so tired. 48 hours going straight, nonstop, in the ER when you're doing rotations, that's really hard.
Yeah.
People's lives depend on you. And not to say that our industry is not hard, every industry is hard, and I feel like when you're graduating college, if you're not terrified, you are a special type of person. And I will give you props, because everyone's terrified, everybody's scared, and honestly, I feel like you've got to take that fear and use it to drive, use it to inspire you and push you, because if you don't do things that scare you, you're never going to do anything. It's if you're scared, then you shouldn't leave the house. But if you're here today, you're obviously doing something. You might be going to university, or you live in the city, and you're being proactive. And so I feel like you should never let fear or discouragement stop you, because then it's just you've already failed. And you can tell them if they want to quit, then they failed without even trying, and that's so disappointing. And let them know that I'm a broken record when I'm why can't I just be 20 today? I can't tell you how many auditions where I'm seeing, or it's 16-year-old Asian American and she's so badass, that's so cool. I can't play 16 anymore, guys. I did Kira for 4 years and I loved it. She was 17. And I tell my agent, I would like to play 25. I would love to play 27. I think I'm also growing up, and it's sort of I want to play a character that I feel really sits well with me. But I would die to be 18 today and starting where probably your friends are, because I feel like the opportunities are 200 times what I had when I started. And so if anyone's scared of, going for it, just know that it's way better now than it was 10 years ago, and I'm still here, surprisingly.
So, again, back to the entertainment industry. Now you are just deep in it already. But what would you say is the best first step in order for one to succeed in it, for lack of better words?
I think definitely always focusing on your craft and your skills. You have to be the best. You have to be, your best. You have to be better. I always feel like whenever I'm auditioning for shows and I'm the way that auditions work, if you're not familiar, you generally will get a script or sides, and then you go in and you audition for the casting director. And then, let's just say, hypothetically, the casting director saw 100 or 200 actors. Then from there, they'll narrow it down to 10 or 15, then they bring you back for a callback. You go and do it again. And then they'll narrow it down to maybe 4 or 5 that get to read for the producers or the director. Then from there, they'll take 2 to 3 to test. Test means they write out a contract, your agent signs it, it's pretty official. They're gonna actually film it, sometimes opposite of the other lead actor. and they'll make a decision from there. But I can't tell you how many times when you get to that testing point, if you are a minority, you have to, if you're equally good, it will always go to the white person. And it's just because they're more marketable. It's just middle America is still white. And I feel like for me, I'm always being told I have to be better. You have to be better than that person. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? A little bit? And it sucks. And like, if for the women in the room, unfortunately, it's sort of the same way. If you're competing against a guy for a job and you're both equally qualified, unfortunately, a lot of times, the guy might get the job. And I know that this is also touchy and people get offended very easily when I talk about this stuff, but I'm just being honest about my experiences. Now, is it this way all the time? No, I don't think so. I think in some industries, women might have an upper hand, and I think in some industries, maybe being a person of color could help. But at least for me, I feel like you just have to be that much better. And a lot of my Asian American actor friends who are, all my working friends always sort of say the same thing too, is we just have to be better. We have to really stand out. We have to work hard, and that's the only way that we'll sort of be remembered or we'll be able to make a change is, yeah, just doing the work. And so I always tell people whenever they're like, how can I be an actor? I'm like, take class, study, read books. There's so many great acting books. And do the work. And you keep on training, you keep on studying every day, and you try to get better every single day. Like if you want to play in the NBA, you're playing basketball all day, all night. Yeah. Even when you are in the NBA, you still train, and you still have a coach, you still practice. Like they literally practice before games, and they're professional NBA players. You don't ever stop. And so I feel like if you want to do anything in the arts, you have to really push yourself to go above and beyond and really train.
That's a lot of, advice on dedication, which is really important for all fields. But in general, do you have advice for all of us here? We're college students. We're all very nervous, still trying to figure out our future paths. But how important do you think it is for us to move forward and, like I said before, pave the way for Asian Americans?
I think the biggest thing is, especially when you're in college and you have a great opportunity to learn and meet different types of people, I think you should focus on always learning, growing, and really enjoying those experiences. And don't rush so much to get out of college or to be working, because this time in your life is really essential. This is a lot of what's building you and shaping who you're going to become. And I feel like, a lot of my friends now, most of us actually are not doing what our college degrees would have assumed we would be doing 10 years from now. And that's okay. I can't tell you how many friends I know that graduated with an engineering degree or a biochem degree or an art history degree, and they're doing something completely different. And then I have friends who are doing exactly what they planned 10 years ago. So just know that there really is no wrong or right. Nobody can say, hey, that's the wrong choice or that's the right choice. You just make a choice and you go with it. If you're gonna study chem, study chem. And when you finish, if you get a job doing that but you don't like it, it's okay. Go back to school or try something else. Like, you guys are so young. You're probably in your early 20s, right? Most of you guys are in your early 20s. Or maybe you're still under 20. Either way, that is not even a quarter of your life. Nowadays, people basically live till they're like 100, right? You guys, if you think about the big realm of things, it's not even a quarter of your life. Enjoy it, learn a lot, make relationships. I feel like you learn a lot from the people around you as well. And college isn't about just what you learn in your classes. It's about what you learn from the people you meet, people from different cultures, international students. I feel like it's so cool to make international friends because they grow up in a totally different world. And you sort of learn from that as well.
Thank you so much for all your answers, Arden.
Oh, thanks. Has it been an hour?
Yes, it has.
Oh, wow.
I'm really fine.
Do you guys have fun?
Yeah. Seen anyone sleeping yet, so that's a good sign. But what do we do? Are we doing Q&A? Yes, now we are finally opening the floor to questions. So.
Ooh, I like that. I like questions. Oh, do we want to get mics around? Tim, right there. That's your little bro. Met him.
I don't know if you heard about the Disney show Andy Mac that stars a whole Asian American family and a really young Asian American teenager. How do you feel about that if you've heard of it? Or seen it?
I haven't watched it yet. Is it airing already?
No, they showed the first episode on YouTube.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's actually really good.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's actually really good.
Ah, that makes me so happy. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to definitely try to support. I think that's amazing. It really is exciting to hear that there are more Asian American families, and like I said, I'm not going to be happy with 1 or 2 more. I mean, I literally want like 10 more. I feel like there should be so many Asian American families, and it should just be a part of like every show.
And well, have you did you ever audition for like Crazy Rich Asians?
Actually, I did not audition for it because they wouldn't see me because I wasn't Chinese. So I feel like that's something that I know a lot of people, there are the people that will say, well good, you shouldn't be in it because you're not Chinese. But then, you guys, I didn't sign up to be an actor to only play a Korean American girl. And to be honest, I don't even think I'm fully Korean. I just say I'm Korean because my mom and dad are Korean, but like my grandpa spoke Japanese, and like I'm pretty sure one of my relatives is Chinese. So I'm pretty sure I'm mixed, but all I know of is that I'm Korean American. But it really breaks my heart when people tell me that I can't play a certain character because she's Chinese. Now, am I gonna go play, I don't know, a Filipino girl? Maybe not, because I don't think I can pass for that. I don't think that I look that part. But I think there are certain ethnicities within the Asian race that I definitely think I can pass for. Especially because like, when I go to Japan, people speak to me in Japanese. And when I go to China, people speak to me in Chinese. So I feel like that should be the pass. And literally, like, nobody ever speaks to me in Korean. I'll be in a Korean restaurant and I'm like, and then they just start talking to me in English. And then I'm like, oh yeah, 안녕하세요. And they're like, you're a funny looking Korean girl. Okay, I'm sorry, bye. But like, I don't know, it makes me sad, but I think the way that sort of casting is seeing it these days is that they're so scared of the backlash that they're just like, let's just be authentic. And that's why I feel like a lot of the complaining that happens from Asians isn't necessarily the best way, because it really limits actors. I think we as Asian American actors or Asian actors should be able to do the roles and the parts that we fit for, perform it well, hopefully get to a place where we have a platform where we might be A-list, and then say, hey, by the way, you know, the last 10 years I played a Chinese American character, but I just want to let you guys know I'm not Chinese American, but I did my best to portray that character, but this is who I am. And see that we are different people. And we are. So, yeah, that's sort of one of those situations where there's definitely about, oh gosh, at least 20 projects this last year where, you know, I was in the mix, and then ultimately they were like, well, you're not Chinese, so kind of sucks, but I want to take a DNA test so I can be like, guys, I'm 1/4 Chinese, give me the job. But I don't know, those are like $200. I feel like, oh, it's such a waste of money, and I heard it's not even accurate. Have you guys done those tests?
It's not.
It's not?
It's not. I mean,
No. Oh.
they only estimate your region. Really.
So like Asia.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I only started watching Teen Wolf because you were in it.
My heart. Oh. Thank you. You're so sweet.
I died a little inside when you left. I died a little inside when you left.
Yeah, I died a little too. Like legit, like literally died.
Any other question, guys?
I'm from Minnesota too, by the way, so hey, but
Oh, Minnesota, hey, where?
just outside of St. Paul.
Cool.
Okay, but anyway, okay, so the show Mr. Robot, which is primarily created and controlled by a man of color, cast B.D. Wong as White Rose, who the character is a trans woman, but B.D. Wong is a cis man, which contributes to the problem of men playing trans women. And that's a really tricky situation, because Wong has spoken about how if he didn't take it, then he wouldn't get another chance as an Asian actor.
Yeah.
So like, how do you think we have a responsibility to negotiate like allyship with other communities and with people who are like both both LGBT and Asian, for example?
I am actually not familiar with that show, so it's good. I'll watch it. I guess for me, you know, I don't know BD Wong personally, and I think he's really great, but I know he's had a really tough career as well, because he is one of the people who paved the way, but has always been stuck with these roles kind of on the side, and I don't think he's gotten enough opportunity. But at the same time, I think he's right. If he didn't take the part, it would have just gone to somebody else. And in the end, it's like, it's better somebody who cares and who's going to be sensitive to it takes that part in his voice. I don't know if that makes sense, and I don't know if that's sort of what you're looking to hear, but I guess for me, I feel like I definitely see what you're saying, that it's unfair, but at the same time, maybe they did audition females, but they just didn't feel like they were the best actor for it. I guess it's really hard to speak on behalf of that because I don't know what the decision makers were thinking. You know, I know for me, like there have been times where, you know, if I audition for a lesbian character, I know that I don't really think for a second, oh, I shouldn't do this because I'm not that. I think if I do it and I'm respectful of it and I do my best to authenticate it, I think that I'm doing my job as an actor. And I would think that that's what BD Wong probably feels like.
Speaking of what you were just talking about, and did you do the voice of the character Samantha in the Tomb Raider game, or were you? Okay. Is she lesbian? I thought she. I'm loud enough.
You know, I am not sure.
Okay.
I had no idea. I mean, when I booked that, I was just, doing the voice for her. And voiceover, you're very much just living in a box. You do everything on your own. It's just a lot of like efforts and sounds and sort of the story. And then I did a couple of the characters on it, but, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then I was wondering if you had any of the similar experiences that you have doing physical roles as you did for the voice acting role with like the casting problems because of like Asianness and stuff like that.
Sorry.
Do you have any similar problems about like not being Chinese and something like that with voice acting roles as you do with like?
Oh, 100%. With voice, they're very, very much like, they want you to be the race or the color that it is, which is great. I think it's really great. But I feel like in that situation, there aren't a lot of like Korean roles. I feel like it's either Japanese or Chinese, which I'm just kind of like, I think I can play that. But I don't know. I feel like I don't want to make casting the bad guy, because they're not the bad guy. They're just trying to make the producers happy. They're trying to bring the best possible candidates for the role to the producers and say, hey, this is what we have for you. And so they're not the bad guys. It's just, I think it's all just touchy subjects because of all the naysayers.
I just have one question. So, like a trend recently has been like an increase in like overseas box office numbers, particularly in places like China. So, in like your opinion, do you think that opens up opportunities for more Asian American actors? I mean, I know there's a clear distinction between Asian American and...
No, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off,
Yeah,
but
sure.
no, I'm like so passionate about that. I'm like, no, it does not open opportunities for Asian Americans. It opens opportunities for Asian actors, which is still great, but it doesn't make a difference for me and my fellow Asian American actors. Like, it literally kind of makes it worse because people now see us with no value. Because when they see me in a casting room, it's like, okay, well, what's your fan base like in Asia? And if it's non-existent, then I am basically worse than a white person to them. Because if they're gonna go Asian, they want to star in Asia. I don't bring any value for that market over there. And so that's where I feel like a lot of Asian American actors struggle because they're kind of like, they don't see that we're different, like Asian actors versus Asian American actors. And it's very, very different. But I also feel like it's very frustrating, that thing, because I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I have some fans in Asia, maybe not as many as like, you know, the top Chinese stars, but I feel like that's very frustrating because I'm like, well, if the movie is in English, I think you should use an Asian American actor because English is our first language. If the movie is going to be in Chinese, I understand that you're going to use a Chinese star. And so I feel like it makes a lot of sense to me, but for some reason when it comes to those decisions being made, you know, it's a lot of it's just about numbers and money.
Thank you.
I realize this might be a bit of a touchy subject, but I do know that you are a Christian as well. Just curious how that plays into your life.
Well, it definitely makes a lot of the work opportunities more difficult. I've been with my agent for, gosh, about 9 years, most of my career. And it's funny because he always tells me, you are my only client who says no more than yes. And I actually lost a manager mid-career because I wouldn't do a certain movie because I thought it was really degrading. And turns out it was really good I didn't do the movie because the girl who booked it, it just ended up being sort of like one of the worst things she ever did. But, so for me, I guess how my religion plays in it is that I don't really have like a black and white. Like I will do this and I won't do that. It's not that. I always sort of draw this very faint line where I say, I hope that if I look back 15 years from now, or if I have children, or my family members watch it, if they're going to be disappointed, or it's going to be offensive, then I don't want to do it. Now, unfortunately, a lot of things these days, especially with sort of the way that like HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, it's sort of, it's very vulgar, it's a lot of nudity. And so that's something actually that one of the things that I fought with my old manager a lot was because he was just basically like, well, every actress has to get naked at one point. It's not a big deal. You know, nobody hasn't seen it before. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I'm not comfortable with that because that's not what I want to represent. I think you can be a great actor and tell stories without getting naked. Do I have anything against actors that do that? No, not at all. I mean, I have really good friends who have done an entire theater show fully nude with his stuff just free. And it is great. His parents saw it and everybody's proud of him. And I love that he did it. And it's so funny because he's an Asian guy and he's like, yeah, I just really wanted to show it off. So I was like, so proud of you. No, I love that. I love it. We need people like that. But I feel like that's, the point is that we're all different. You know, I have Asian actress friends who are like, oh girl, I want to be naked so bad because I just am not going to look like this when I'm 45 and I want to know that it was documented when my boobs were perky. So I'm like, girl, I get it. And I literally will have friends that will convince me, they'll just be like, Arden, you should do it. Like, do it while you're hot. You're not going to be hot forever. Or you might not be next year. Like, I mean, these conversations happen, they're very real. But for me, and my agent, we have this very clear understanding that I don't do things with very grotesque, vulgar sex scenes. I don't do nudity. Unfortunately, that's like 70% of female roles. So when I have like sort of, let's say like he has like the roll of auditions for the week, I already can't do about 70% of them. And then like the 30% that's left, if it's like all white, then I have like maybe 2 or 3 options. But you know, it's crazy. I have booked things that was written for a white girl, so I'm like, yeah. But definitely it makes it a lot tougher. But I'm sort of a believer that when I look back at my career, the highlights of my career is moments like this, when I get to go to universities and talk. I remember when I started acting, I never dreamed that somebody would actually care to listen to what I have to say. And to me, that's like such an honor. Like if I die tomorrow, I feel like I wouldn't be like, oh, the most exciting thing was like a video getting X amount of views or a movie I did, but it would just be the fact that I got to actually meet people, impact people with my life and my experiences. And so I kind of feel like, hey, I moved to LA just wanting to try, but I got to be a series regular. I got to guest star on, you know, numerous shows. I got to work with really talented people. And so if my career ends tomorrow because I'm not going to do things that I'm not comfortable with or I don't want to make compromises, then it ends tomorrow. But I also believe that there are plenty of people out there that will provide opportunities where you don't have to compromise. And you know, I'll always remember what my manager said to me before he left, and he was basically like, you will never ever make it in this industry if you don't compromise, because everybody compromises. And I think he's wrong, and I think anyone who believes that is wrong, because in so many different fields of work, you're going to come to a point where someone is going to tell you to make a compromise. But I think if you don't stay true to yourself and what you believe in, then what's the point? If I do a show that basically kills my soul and I compromise who I am, I don't think I'll be happy doing it, regardless of the money or the security or the fame or anything. And so for me, like that's basically how I look at it, and I think, I don't know if it even has anything to do with my religion, but I know my agent thinks it's because I'm a good Christian girl, as he will call it. And I'm like, I'm not, I'm just trying to be, I don't know, to live my life in a way that I feel like is right. It's really not because I'm Christian. I think it's just because those are things that I find valuable and important. And yeah, I try to follow by it. But I don't know. I hope I don't change, but you never know.
So
Where? Oh, where are you?
I'm here.
Oh, hi. Hi. I was like, where is she? I hear the voice.
So growing up, I struggled with cultural identity. I'm a second generation Asian American, and you touched upon this with the acting. But I was wondering how, if you had any advice or experience of how to deal with not being Asian enough, but not being white enough, and how to fit into that mold of being Asian American.
I missed the first part of it. You said you struggled with cultural
identity about not being like Asian enough or
I mean,
enough.
just don't worry about the labels. Just be you. Who cares? I feel like when you meet someone, you're not like, hi, I'm Asian American. No, you say, what was your name?
Tiffany?
You go, hi, I'm Tiffany. This is who I am, like, and maybe like the things you love, the things you do, like that's who you are. You being Asian American is that's just like a physical shell. But I don't really think that matters. In the end, it's like, we're all just people. And I feel like, I understand what you're saying, because I spent my whole life wanting to be white, because I didn't know what Asian American was. I grew up in Texas, where I was the only person of color in my classroom. I experienced racism every single day. I had teachers that were racist. I was called Oriental, chink, gook, kicked off buses, like sent to the hospital. I literally got beat up twice when I was a kid. So my entire life, I grew up thinking that the worst thing that happened to me was being Asian. It wasn't until college when I met other Asians and Asian Americans, and then I took a Asian American Studies class, and I sort of learned about these things, and I realized, oh, okay, I do have a place. But I still struggle with it, because when I go to Korea, they're like, oh, well, you're not Korean, you're like white. And then I'm like, well, but in America, I'm not white, and I'm not American. I mean, it's crazy. People, literally to this day, I love how these days everyone's like, a couple of my white girlfriends will be like, wow, Arden, I had like no idea people were so racist. Were people this racist to us when we were in high school? Yeah, you just didn't notice because you're white. I notice it every day, literally every single day. So it just really just kind of rolls off my shoulder. It's just like, oh, it happened again. Yeah, that's cool. No, I'm not Oriental. I'm not a rug. I'm a human. But you know, these things happen, and I think I'm still sort of experiencing it and figuring out where I fit. But I guess I would just encourage you to focus more on being you and not worrying about that. Because when I go to Korea, I get sad because I don't get accepted as Korean. You know, and here I'm sad because I'm not accepted as like American. I have to be Asian American or Korean American. Why can't I just be American? I was born and raised in Texas. I used to have a southern accent until people made fun of me so much that I was like, oh, I must cover it. But I literally used to be like, oh, hi, how doing? My name's Arden, nice to meet you. And they were, yeah, but that's the reaction I always got, and I just felt really weird. I was like, do y'all have a soda machine? And they're like, what? A soda machine? Anyways, so I feel like in the end, everybody feels out of place. Everybody feels sort of a fish out of water to some extent. And so I hope that helps.
Hello, my name is Erin, and I'm really glad you came today because I was definitely inspired to speech, and I personally resonate with you a lot because I'm a psych major, but I'm also pursuing a minor in theater because I love acting. Acting is awesome.
You're basically me.
I know, so I was
And
like,
you were nodding the whole way. You were giving me so much encouragement. Every time I got nervous, I would just look at you. And Thank you.
I definitely love it. I was taking notes all the time, calling her.
You took notes? That's so cool, guys.
It was awesome. So I assume you had like rejected like only because you're an Asian American woman. Have you ever fought for it, and how was like the result of?
What do you mean rejected?
Like you went to an audition and people reject you because like, oh, you're Asian. Like have you ever fought for it?
I can't fight for it because I have no power. I'm nothing. I'm just an actor. I know it sounds really sad, but like that's the reality. The reality is actors have this much power. So little. Like the people that have power are the ones like up on top with money. And so we're literally the last pieces of the puzzle. And I feel like ultimately, I'm one of those people that always believes fighting isn't ever the right way to go about things. You know, I think if you work hard and you're resilient, you know, eventually those right opportunities will come. And I definitely think that in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be Asian American A-listers. And I think that will make a big difference for us.
Definitely. One more question. And what do you think, like, you have so much achievement, accomplishment so far, what do you think is still your biggest struggle in life or in this industry?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm struggling with things every single day. And it's so nice to hear and to be encouraged that people find me to be successful or those sorts of things. But it's crazy because the older you get, I feel like you never feel like you're successful. There's always someone next to me who is smarter, more successful, more talented, just more together. And I feel like I'm always struggling with what can I do next? I mean, because technically, I don't know if you guys know this, but actors, if you're not on a show or a movie, you are unemployed. So I am unemployed, guys, and I'm at a university trying to give you guys advice on life. So if you don't want to be 31 and unemployed, don't be an actor. No, I'm just kidding. No, be an actor. I think it's really great. I think it's so great. But it's okay to be unemployed sometimes, because in this time of unemployment, I have been doing a lot of really cool creative things, making more music, which I haven't done in 4 years, and doing things that make me really happy and learning more. And so I feel like, yeah, I guess I forgot the question, but that is my advice.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Cool. My name is Josh. I'm.
Hi.
Thank you for speaking us today. I'm a senior film major here, so I really connected with a lot of stuff that you said. Also from California, I'm also a Christian, so minority.
We're also the same. Wow, I love it. I feel so apart. I mean, like, part of the family. Sorry.
It's not really a question, but yeah, I agreed with what you said, and I think as filmmakers, in school, it's often hard to be thinking about this stuff, thinking about Asian representation, and making films with Asian actors and actresses. So I really want to thank you for bringing that up, and I think it's important. I think I'd like to start doing that more, so yeah.
It's awesome. I'll be looking out for your work, Josh. I think right here too.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on shows that are somewhat degrading towards like a specific race, like for example, like Fresh Off the Boat or Blackish. Like, do you think that there exists like bad publicity?
I think that's sort of a perspective, because I think there are parts that people might be offended in Fresh Off the Boat, of course. But at the same time, I think it brings a lot of positive as well. So I guess, you know, in art, it's really hard to say what is okay and what is not okay and what is, I guess, offensive and not offensive. Sort of with art, you're always kind of on that fine line in a sense. And so I'm a supporter of Fresh Off the Boat. You know, I feel like I know the actors and the writers and everybody working on that show, their ultimate goal is to create a platform for this Asian family, this Asian American family. And so I think as an audience, we just can't expect that Blackish is not what all Black people are like. Fresh Off the Boat is not what all Asian families are like. And I think if you watch it purely from that point of view, I think it's great. Because I think if you have to think back to think about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's not every black family, but what did that show do for the black community? It was huge. That was I feel like that was the starting point of Will Smith really being able to do huge things. And I am such a fan of his career and what he has done. But I'm sure that back then a lot of people were offended by that show if they thought this is what every black family looks like, because it's not. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's sort of how I look at it.
Hi, my name's Kat. I'm a sophomore television, radio, and film major, and I'm also a very big fan of Teen Wolf. And I was wondering what your opinion was on the incorporation of Asian and Asian American history into the show, and how you felt that was done, how well it was done.
I actually think Teen Wolf did a really good job of that. I think they went sort of above and beyond in some ways. I don't think they needed to necessarily cast my father to be physically Korean, but they did that sort of to pay respects and make it sort of more authentic. So my character, Kira Yukimura, if you're not familiar, has a Japanese mom, played by Tamlin Tamita, and a Korean dad, played by Tom Choi. But our character takes the last name Yukimura, which is Japanese, and they do a whole episode about why we took that last name because of the Japanese culture, and it's actually pretty accurate. And then they do sort of pay homage to that, and I think it's really, really great. And we do these episodes about my mom and the history of the internment camp and all that sort of stuff. So I think it's so amazing and awesome. I was just really sad that no Asian people seem to care about it. So, I think those are the things where it's oh, you care, thank you. Thank you. So, okay. But, just in the big realm of things, I think it's one of those things where it's just, like I said, we need more Asian American families like that. And one of the things that I will always say is one of my favorite scenes is we do this scene where my character's boyfriend, who is played by Tyler Posey, comes over to eat dinner, and my dad prepares this whole platter of sushi. And he brings it out all fancy, and then my mom is like, "Why did you make sushi? I thought we were gonna have spaghetti tonight." And I love that scene so much because he's like, I don't know, I was just trying to impress the guest. But it's that's so true. I ate spaghetti at home all the time. When I was a kid, my mom always made spaghetti. She didn't only make Asian food. And so I love that they did that scene and they incorporated it because it made our family normal. And my parents don't have accents. My mom is smoking hot on the show. And my dad is super funny and awkward and all about Kira Yukimura dating, which is sort of the opposite that you would expect from an Asian dad. So I feel like the show did a really good job about representing an Asian American family. I was just disappointed that there wasn't as much coverage on it. People didn't seem to care. They just only focus on the negative of this show is racist and this show shows a bad example of an Asian family. And so, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jade, and I was wondering if I could get a photo with you.
Yeah, sure. Right now?
Well, when would you be okay with it? Or after?
He's saying afterwards. Oh, but we could do it with her.
We do have a meet and greet session.
Yeah, we have a meet and greet after. Don't worry.
I was also wondering about Teen Wolf, if you would be playing Kira in 6B.
I'm not. I believe they wrapped shooting. I'm not 100% sure, but they didn't call me back. So unfortunately, I don't think that means I will be back.
And when you do collabs with Chen or Cassie Ho, what's the experience like? What do you find really enjoyable about them?
Well, generally on YouTube, I only really collab with my friends, people that I like and I know. Jason I've known for many, many years, and so whenever I'm just hey, you like the song? Should we sing it? I like it. Okay, cool. So, it's never this big thing of we're going to work on this collaboration. I think that you and I should collaborate. It's really nice. It's such a chill thing. Somebody will call and be like, hey, I think that you'd be good for this. Do you wanna work on it? Do you wanna make a cameo? Or if it's a cover, it's I think it'll fit David Choi really well. So I'll be like, David, let's cover this. It'll be really fun. Let's do it. And then let's eat and hang out.
Are there any shows that you really like
like dramas, Korean dramas, or I love Korean dramas. They're like the death of me. So bad. When I watch a Korean drama, I literally disappear and die, and I don't answer my phone, I don't reply to text messages. People are like, where were you this week? And I was like, well, I worked every single day the last 2 months, and so I just watched a Korean drama for 4 days straight. So yeah, Descendants of the Sun, Togepi, Goblin, like so many. I mean, this list just goes on and on and on, and I'm just like, I want to be her, or I want to be as cool as that guy. Anyways, but I also love shows like Law and Order SVU. I'm a huge fan of Marissa Hardigan. Like that is my dream, and people think it's so funny because they're like, your dream is to be on a procedural show, and I'm like, yes. That is my dream, is that I go to work every week and I solve a crime and there's closure and we move on to the next week. I hate shows that every single week for like 7 years, there's no closure. Like, how am I supposed to live with my life? I think that's why I like Korean dramas. If you guys have never watched a Korean drama, basically everything happens in 24 episodes and there is closure at the end. If you die, you die. If you live, if you all fall in love, like everything just happens and it's beautiful and perfect. It's very like intense and then done. I love that. I really hate shows that just keep going on and on and on and on and on.
Thank you.
I know you sing, and I wonder if there was any point in your career that you ever thought you wanted to be like a K-pop star, like like I know there's Korean Americans like AAPI and other people like well they're not Korean but like Henry and Amber, they all decided to go to the K-pop route. I wonder if there was any point in your career that you ever thought.
Yeah, I did like every single year since I was 18. Except when I went to Korea, they were like, you have to lose 40 pounds and get plastic surgery all over your face. And I was like, oh. And they were like, we have to break your legs and make them skinny and tall, but you won't be able to walk for a year and a half, but then you'll have straight legs. I was like, oh, okay. So basically, for me, every single time I went to Korea, that was sort of the conversations I had. And I think it's changed a lot. But then also I hear about these groups coming out with a single that's called 예뻐지고 있어요, which is like, I'm becoming pretty, and the entire music video is them getting plastic surgery. And like the end of the music video is like, look, I became pretty. And I'm like, girl, I think you look better before plastic surgery. Calm down. So I think for me, it's sort of back to the whole pride and stubbornness. It's not that I didn't want to get plastic surgery. I just knew that if I fixed one thing, I'd want to fix probably everything. And if I fixed everything, I wouldn't be who I am today. And then one day I would look back and be like, I'm not even me. And I think for me, what was more important about my career is that if I ever got anywhere in it, I would hope that I can be a good influence and be someone who can be someone's older sister. And I think if I stand in front of people and I sort of only fix the exterior and become this like perfect doll in a sense, I don't think that really helps anybody. I think I might feel really pretty and feel great, but I think at the end of the day, you know, someone once said, like, you can draw straight lines. Like, a crooked stick can draw straight lines. And I feel like a lot of times, like, your brokenness or your flaws or your weird quirks kind of make you who you are. And I thought a perfect face wasn't required to tell a good story. And so that was definitely always a thing that was like a no compromising situation. And so even like 4 or 5 years ago, I booked a drama in Korea and they were cool with me not getting surgery. And I like literally packed my bags and I was about to go. And then one of like the assistants there were basically like, oh yeah, so your appointments are made for da-da-da. And I was like, for what? And they were like, oh, it's just like 조금 찍을 거예요. Which in English means like, we're just gonna pinch a little. And I was like, wait a second, pinch what and where? And they're like, oh, it's just a little Botox. Just to take care of those lines. And just a little bit of snip. Nothing, like you won't even be able to tell the difference. And I was like, I made it clear, it's not about me. I have nothing against plastic surgery at all. I have girlfriends who got hella plastic surgery. And they're like, I feel way prettier. And I'm like, good for you, girl, that's cool. I think for me, because I went into this industry wanting to, like I had sort of a vision, I just don't think it's right for me. And I think it just sort of negates a lot of things that I stand for if I do it. But I have nothing against plastic surgery, literally nothing. I just don't think if you're 8 years old, you should be getting like 4 nose jobs because you haven't grown into your face yet. And you will literally change 100 times before you become like a woman. And so, yeah, that's just how I feel about
Do you
Korea.
have any like group that you always love since you've been into it since like forever? Ow.
Why are you hitting her? It's okay.
Ow.
It's okay. It's cool. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I ever really had like a favorite. I think these days I just really like a lot of the dramas, but that's it.
Hi, my name is Kevin, freshman film major here.
Oh, hi.
Hi. First of all, I want to say really inspired by your talk because I'm also from California and I want to be a filmmaker. So
Oh, what's up? What's up? All these West Coast filmmakers. Same? Oh, they're the same. Are you guys friends?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys friends?
So I totally like foresee like all the challenges that minorities have in like the film industry. I'm actually kind of curious as to the mainstream American music industry because like that's something that I don't really know about. But from what I realized, like out of all like the R&B, hip hop, or anything that I listen to, the only like recognizable Asian names that I know are like, for example, David So, David Choi, or like Brian Puspos or something like that. But they're not like mainstream. So I was wondering if like there are the same issues in the music industry when it comes to like, yeah.
I think it's very similar because I think a lot of times and like I don't know this for sure. I just know that when I did make my EP album, I did have a couple meetings with some major labels, and at one point there was one that was huge that showed interest, but then they basically were like, we want to rewrite everything and then we want to like reproduce everything, and then they just had this like vision for me that like I didn't feel was authentic or right. And I had made that album more just to tell my stories and just literally to make it so that one day I can look back and say, ah, I did this. Or if I have kids be like, look, Mom's cool. Or sort of. So I think for me, from my experiences, I've always felt that people in the music industry, very similar to old Hollywood, have this idea of what an Asian man or an Asian woman is like. And if they're gonna push them as an Asian artist, I think they just try to make it a thing. And so like, you know, one of the, like for recently I feel like Scooter Braun has been really pushing CL, but I feel like CL is so talented. She's from 21, if you guys don't know, a huge K-pop group in Korea. But for me, like when I watch her US stuff, I'm like, I just don't think that's who she is. I feel like he really tried to make her the girl that he thought she should be, like the Asian girl he thought she should be. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she was like, this is exactly what I want. And if it is, cool, good for her. It's just, you know, she's not representing every Asian girl in the world. And so I think for me, I feel like music, definitely a long way to come, but I also feel like it doesn't really matter now because most the successful like artists now aren't even signed. This is a whole new wave. I mean, you guys are so lucky to be in this generation where you can just create your own work, your own platform, your own everything. You know, I feel like 10 years ago it was just starting. And now it's like, I know people making sick records in a closet. So you don't need all that glitz and glam and the, you know, $1 million studio. You don't need all of that.
So guys, who would like to hear Arden Cho sing? Oh my god.
Wait a second. Do you guys have any suggestions? Let's see everyone playing on their Snapchats. It's so unfair because we're like in this auditorium setting. There's no music. But like, okay, I'll sing up to like what I know in Taeyang without the lyrics. Wait, do you guys know that song? 미안해 미안해 하지마 내가 초라해지잖아 빨간 예쁜 입술로 어서 나를 죽이고 가 나는 괜찮아 마지막으로 나를 바라봐줘 아무렇지 않은 듯 웃어줘 네가 보고 싶을 때 기억할 수 있게 나의 머릿속에 네 얼굴 그릴 수 있게 널 보낼 수 없는 나의 욕심이 집착이 되어 나가고 혹시 일어나 때문에 힘들었니 아무 대답 없는 너 바보처럼 왜 너를 지우지 못해 난 떠나버렸는데 나의 눈, 코, 입 날 만지던 네 손길 작은 손톱까지 다 여전히 너를 느낄 수 있지만 I like don't know how to listen. I was like basically confused the whole way through and nobody sang along with me. I hate you all. You did? Huh? No, it was not loud enough, girl. You can't be a quiet, passive Asian girl. You have to be loud and aggressive and show all those people.
All right, everyone, please give Arden Cho a big round of applause.
Oh wait, I have some free goodies for you guys. I don't know where they are. Oh, they're there. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So, who likes free stuff? Okay. Teen Wolf?
Yeah.
Ooh, who knows my jersey number from Teen Wolf? Say it.
15.
Legit. You know what? I really want that jersey. I wish they would give it to me. I want it so bad. That was my favorite thing, was playing lacrosse on the show. That's a good one. Does anyone know what day I was born on?
August 16.
Whoa, that was pretty good. Okay, here, hold on. Hold on though, just so, did you wiki it like right now? Did you Google it like yesterday or earlier today? Or
Maybe.
he Googled it, guys. Otherwise, I'd be scared. I'm like, oh my god, what's my social security number? Oh my, what if someone said it? I would be terrified. I would legit be terrified. Okay, let's see. What else can we do? You guys are all so quiet and okay, I don't know. Who else wants a poster? Well, I saw your hand first, so you can have one. And then, I don't know, what else? Do we have suggestions? What should we do? Huh?
She looks pretty anytime.
I don't know, I also have a couple watches I'm gonna give away. I don't know if you guys know I make watches. Okay. Yeah, so I love watches. So I have a couple watches. Maybe, earlier they were saying that I should make people do like the water challenge, but I think that's really neat, and it's like dirty. Like you get spit on. But maybe we'll take a few people and like, maybe we'll do like a little mini dance-off or something with some music on, or I don't know. Yeah? Yes? No? Maybe so?
Yeah!
Okay, can I get like 4 or 5 volunteers? Everyone real shy? Don't be so shy. Just come. The first 5 people to hit this stage, we're going. It's going.
Joe, you got this. Joe, yeah! Oh!
Okay, because obviously you guys don't seem excited. I'm gonna show you the watches.
Oh.
So this is one.
I don't dance. Come in the back. No,
All
get
right.
up here.
So, but don't worry, I'll give you guys an opportunity to win it after too. So, but for the wait, we need like 2 more. Come on, don't be shy.
Joe, get your PB.
You've got to be a better dancer than me.
Jasmine!
Okay, fine. It doesn't have to be dancing. It can be any skill. Well, it can be something else. Oh wait, is she like legit? Oh, oh, you look cute. I like your outfit. Okay, all right, okay.
Okay, Joe.
So, let's say first, everyone say your name and then what you're gonna do. If it's not gonna be dancing, if it's gonna be something different. No, okay, it's okay. I'll do it with you. My name's Jade and singing. Okay, cool.
My name's Tanu and dancing.
Okay.
My name is Jasmine, I guess,
dancing.
I'm Joe. I guess I'll be dancing as well.
My name's Kat, and I guess I'm gonna Irish step dancing.
Okay, wait. So, do we need like music? Or okay. You should go first then. You said you're good. You don't need music?
Maybe someone else could go first.
Oh, okay. Do y'all want music?
You should sing for them.
Sing what?
Sing for them.
But like everything I sing is slow.
Beatbox.
I do not know. All I know how to do is like sing. Okay, that's so bad. I'm ashamed. No, I don't know. Should we play some music? Is there something that's like danceable? What do we got here? Okay, name a song right now that y'all want to see them dance to. What?
That's what I like, Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars.
That's what I what? Love. Oh, that's what I like. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Where are we going?
That's their song. That's their song. That's what I like. And then we realized we could have done it, and now we can't.
Oh, is that this song? That's what I like? Oh, I like that song. I always never know the title of songs.
Go.
Was it playing? Okay, it's playing, guys.
Oh, damn.
Okay. Can we do one at a time? Or Joe's going, so Joe just go. All right, Joe gets 10 seconds. Hey, she get down. Okay, that was awesome. You guys are awesome. Okay, and then she's gonna sing, so I'll give you the mic.
I'm not sure.
How far will I go?
Do you sing that? Do you like that?
What do you I know the lyrics?
We can look up lyrics, or what do you want to sing?
What, like sing the song that you sing? I know you want to sing.
Oh,
Korean.
it's okay. We're just saying whatever you know the lyrics to, real quick.
Okay. So I guess the how far I'll go, or maybe from. Yeah, I'll sing December from Anastasia.
Oh wow, I love that song.
Dancing bears, painted wings, things I almost remember, and a song someone sings once upon a December.
It's too hard. I can't choose. So I'm just gonna go behind, and then we're gonna cheer, okay? And then you guys can decide which two we're gonna watch. You ready? No, that's not fair. It's all on you guys. I don't want the responsibility.
Really loud. That's all.
You guys are feeling good. Okay, guys. Okay, ready? Right here. Okay, so I think Joe wanna watch. I think then it was between here. Where did you guys think was the next loudest? Jasmine? Jasmine, okay, and then who was after that? you already got a poster.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. Oh, here. Then you can have
Thank
the
you.
poster. Joe, do you want the brown watch or the black watch? Yes. Okay, so then, while you guys are on your phones, I will also pick one more winner. If you go to it's Leonard and Church on Instagram, and you click on the site, if you put in your email address, I'll pick someone from today and I'll send you guys a watch. So, you have to do that though. Oh, it's Leonard and Church. If you go to my Instagram, it's like all over the place. There you go. So yeah, if you go to the home page, it says like put your email in for the subscription. So just do that. There you go. Okay. Yay! Okay, good job, good job. Good job, Irish dancing. Oh, and good job. Good job. Oh, hello.
Will you sign a watch on the
Wait, what?
Will you sign a watch on
I will not, because I don't like ship them out directly. I would. I mean, if I see you again, I'll sign it for you, or I'll sign something you give me today. So, later.
Merchandise outside by the front.
Oh yeah, we'll have merch outside for the meet and greet. How are we on time? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll just say a couple words.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm great. I mean, I had a lot of fun. Did you guys have fun? You guys, wait, we earlier like played a clip because we were gonna maybe sing a song. Should I sing like an actual song? Yeah. Oh, I was gonna. Is it weird if I stand behind the podium? Because I don't want it to be like a show because it's not really a show. But I'll sing a song that I really like that I've never sang at a show. Yeah. I hope I remember all the lyrics because I was literally just like, oh, I want to sing a song today. You know it? If you know it, you can sing along. When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, there is no one there to dry your tears. I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue. I'd go crawling down the avenue. There is nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. Alright, that's it. So funny, I've never actually sang something for like a talk, so you guys are the first. I think this thing asked me so nicely before the show, so I was like, okay. No, oh, dang girl, you really gotta put me on the spot like that. It was for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Arden. We're here to Arden for another round of applause.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for bringing thank you so much to Syracuse and
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you for being
For the sound.
so fun and inspirational. Selfie is my show too, so
Yes!
I love that show.
Hot Asian guys.
Thank you for bringing it up. So we're moving on to the meet and greet portion of the program, and so Arden Show will be outside. There's merchandise, so please stick around if you want to meet Arden Show. Thank you.
Arden, can you sign a poster?